Singer R. Kelly sits in a Chicago jail cell facing multiple felony charges, including sexual assault, child pornography, and kidnapping. He maintains he is innocent. Lifetime Surviving R. Kelly documentary sent shockwaves last year through Chicago and across the country. Michelle Kramer says her daughter, Dominique, spent years with R. Kelly, but was being held against her will.
Before Dominique met R. Kelly, she was this bubbly teenager. But after R. Kelly, she was dark. She was like a loner. She didn't want to be bothered with nobody.
I get a knock at the door. Then it's my mother with a camera crew. And that was like the hardest decisions I had to make because, of course, I love Rob. But then again, I knew that the situation wasn't good.
Part 2 of the Surviving R. Kelly series aired over the weekend, and Michelle Kramer joins us for an update. Welcome, Michelle.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us about your daughter, Dominique.
Dominique she's my only daughter.
Okay.
She's the middle child. And, you know, she loved her some R. Kelly. Her dad took her to see him when she was probably about 13.
Okay.
And after that concert, I don't know what happened, but she became his #1 fan. And during that time, I ended up moving to Country Club Hills, and everyone knows that R. Kelly lives in Olympia Fields. That's when he had his mansion, and we stayed too close. And she ended up befriending, a girl befriended her on MySpace. And you know, they was talking because they was, you know, friends, and they had something in common, which was R. Kelly. And she invited her to a party.
At his mansion.
At his mansion.
In Olympia Fields.
And she told me that she was just hanging out with some friends, bowling, going to the movies, but all that time she was hanging out with him.
At what point did you have the disconnect, do you think, with Dominique?
When my son and I went to his mansion, I called Olympia Fields police, and I was outside the gate, and the manager came in and said R. Kelly wasn't there. Okay, but everybody's coming in for this party. So once she got back home, I made a phone call to him, and I told him.
To R. Kelly?
Yes, I told her to give me his phone number, and I called him, and he was like, hello, it was him. And I said, stay the away from my daughter. This is Michelle Kramer. And he was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I was like, oh, okay. Hung up. I was screaming, I was hollering, telling her that he just got off the first case. I said, he likes little girls. Dominique, this is not, you know, no.
How old was Dominique when this was happening?
She was 17. 17
right now, okay.
She was 17. And she said, okay, I'm gonna leave him alone. As a mother instinct, she came back about a month later when she turned 18. And she told me that she had been seeing him again. So what you do? She 18. So, do I lose my daughter to him? Or do I just be that mother and accept it? So I became that mother and I accepted it.
You accepted it?
Yes.
You say your daughter moved in with R. Kelly and cut off all communication with you. What was the longest time period where you did not communicate with Dominique?
About 6 months. She was on my line. And I remember it was around January of 2017. She called and told me that, she texted me and said that she didn't need my line anymore, that she was gonna be on his line. So for 6 months, I didn't talk to her, but she knew my number by heart. So as parents, make sure your kids know your number. So if anything ever happened, they know they could call.
In this time period, this 6-month time period, when she left your home and moved in with R. Kelly.
Now this time she was like, she about 23, 24 now.
Okay, so some years, what happened in the years from about 18 to 23?
She graduated from school, went on prom, she did all that. And then we moved to the north side of Chicago, still too close to R. Kelly, his studio 20 minutes from my house. So one day she just came and said, Mom, he want me to move to Atlanta with him. And I was like, no. She's like, Mom, come on, it's gonna be okay. I'm gonna be his assistant. I was like, his assistant. She was like, yeah, Mom, come on. So she trying to convince me, but it's my only daughter. I'm trying to give her my blessing. So I did, again. She went. She still had communication. She still came home for Christmas. She still came home for Thanksgiving. She came home for my birthday. She did. I don't know what happened, but something happened in January 2000 when I got the text, and I lost all communication with her.
And when you say the text, what do you mean?
She sent me a text saying that she was going to be on his line, and here's her phone number, but that actually was just one of his numbers.
And that was the beginning of the 6 months where you did not hear from her
Did
at all?
not hear from her, and then August of 2017, the Savage family came out with their press conference that he was holding girls against their will. He wouldn't let them come home. He was doing things that wasn't right. And I was like, now it makes sense that I haven't heard from her. So I had like 3 numbers of his. So I started calling, I started texting, I started saying whatever that was going to get him to answer.
So when the Savages, I'm just trying to keep track of the timeline here, when the Savages came out with that press conference that you just mentioned, Dominique was living with R. Kelly
in Atlanta, Georgia.
In Atlanta, Georgia,
Yes.
and you had no communication with her?
I had no communication with her. I would have to text him, and I would say, hey, I need to talk to my daughter. I don't know what's going on. And then he'll call and say, oh, she's at the mall. She's right, she's doing this.
So you were in communication with him?
Yes. But
How
only
often?
At the same time, I have a young son, her youngest brother, and I'm still trying to deal with that. But at the same time, she's grown. And I would send messages, but I would have to send some nasty, ugly messages for him to respond. So she would call. And she'd be like, Mom, why are you saying those nasty things? It's like, I know he's standing right there listening to the conversation. And she was like, no, he wasn't. I said, from Chicago, I know the game. You standing your right there listening. And then, guess that all of a sudden, abruptly, she would say, I gotta go, Mom, I'm gonna call you back. I said, let me tell you something, I love you. Ain't nobody gonna love you like your mama, baby. So whatever he doing over there, what's ever in the dark is going to come out in the light. And I'm gonna make sure of that.
We're going to take a short break. As we said earlier, R. Kelly maintains his innocence. His lawyer, Steve Greenberg, issued a statement over the summer, which reads in part, R. Kelly and his lawyers look forward to his day in court, to the truth coming out, and to his vindication from what has been unprecedented assault by others for their own personal gain. More with Michelle Kramer when we come back. We're back with Michelle Kramer. She and her daughter, Dominique Gardner, are featured in the Lifetime documentary series Surviving R. Kelly. So we did not hear from Dominique in the first part of Surviving R. Kelly. Dominique chose to talk out in Surviving R. Kelly 2, The Reckoning. Why do you think she did then, and what was the turning point for Dominique?
She's pregnant now. She's with baby. She's happy. She overcame something that a lot of women are still going through. So I believe she did this for her baby, her unborn child, because now she understands what her mother did. And now she's a mother, and she had to protect hers at all costs.
What kind of conversations have you had with Dominique?
She, I remember one time, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, she woke me up, and she had just got through doing an interview with Jim. So she knew it was gonna be some backlash from that interview. And she said, you could ask me anything you want. But as a mother, some things you just don't want to know.
So you didn't ask her all the things you wanted to know?
Oh, no.
You didn't?
No.
What was going through your mind, though, when she was gone? Because I'm a mother, too.
You understand, I live too close to him. I always said this, and I will always stand by it. Some things you don't want to know. As a mother, I live too close to him. And I am...
How did you get through, though? How did you get through not talking to your baby?
God, when I asked him, after I found out about the Savages said what they said, I said, don't send her home for a visit. I need you to send her home forever. So 6 months later, that's when I went to L.A. and I was filming for the docuseries. And I saw on TMZ with Joy Savage. They was in Beverly Hills. So.
Okay, R. Kelly's lawyer has come out, as you well know, saying that all of these things are lies. saying that this is not accurate, none of these stories. What do you say to that?
Well, I would say that too if I'm knowing that I'm going to be in jail for the rest of my life. So I'm going to fight like everybody saw he did on the Gayle King show. He fighting for his life. So I would say that.
What are your thoughts about the second part of the Surviving R. Kelly, the part 2, The Reckoning? Do you feel like this needed to be happen, even though now we've already said he's sitting in a jail, he's not getting out until the trial, okay? He's been facing all these charges. Do you think this docuseries is needed?
Yes.
Why?
Because it's going to bring out a lot more of things that he was doing that other people were too in the industry. So everybody just sweeping under the rug because who he was or who he is, R. Kelly. So no, it needed to be now. Like you saw the docuseries, the trailer my daughter is in it now, and she's speaking her truth.
In the original docuseries, you say that your daughter needed to be rescued. Why did you say she needed to be rescued?
She needed to be rescued because she believed everything he told her. Like, you know, as parents, and we tell our kids this, and everything from, no, they lying, this is not the truth, all that. She, like, anything that he told her, she believed it. And I had to let her know, that's not true, baby. I'm outside looking in. You inside trying to look out, because they didn't get to watch TV. They didn't get to do this. They didn't get to do a lot of things.
Since the release of part 1 of the Surviving R. Kelly, how have things changed for you and your family and for Dominique? I know you mentioned already that she's pregnant, she's happy, she's in a good space.
Yeah.
Were there any negative repercussions?
Oh, of course. People said I was lying. They said that the rescue was fake. I've been on all type of blogs and everything, but it hurted the first time because I knew it was real. And it's sad because as a black community, we have to stick together, and we always the only community that don't. So most of the haters was, you know, my people, and it's sad. But we doing good, you know. We in a happy space, but it was hell. I'm not gonna lie. You know, we go to therapy. She didn't want to go to therapy. She was saying she was okay. She was crying. She was drinking. I mean, she wasn't taking showers on a regular because they didn't take showers on her. Her habits was still there, and I had to break her back into home. Right. Because she was with him for so long.
Right, and I watched the first series and saw when you were going to LA and she didn't want to go. What was that turning point when she finally decided to come back home?
Because she like my mom in LA. She made it to LA. She said that she asked God a week before. She was going through some things and she was questioning should she leave him. And she said, God, if you could send me a sign, I'm leaving. Mama showed up in that hotel room and that was her sign. And that's why she left. She said it was time. Because I could have easily went to the studio, I could have did whatever, but she said for my mom to find me in LA, that was the time for her to go. She said that was her sign.
Right. What do you say to those people who maintain that R. Kelly is not wrong, just like his attorneys that say that everybody else is lying, R. Kelly is not wrong, he still has a lot of support out there? What do you say to those folks?
Open up your eyes and your ears. It's the truth, darling. I understand Chicago's own. I'm from Chicago, born and raised here. And nobody wants to believe the truth. Nobody wants to believe that he's talented. But like one of the girls said, it's two sides of him. Robert and R. Kelly are two different people.
How do you feel about R. Kelly sitting in a jail cell right now?
I say that playground, schools, and Chuck E. Cheese are safe again. So he belongs there. Sorry. Whatever in the dark comes to light, baby.
Michelle, thank you so much for speaking out. As we said earlier, R. Kelly maintains his innocence. His lawyer, Steve Greenberg, issued a statement over the summer, which reads in part, R. Kelly and his lawyers look forward to his day in court, to the truth coming out, and to his vindication from what has been an unprecedented assault by others for their own personal gain.